so I got it out. You can tell it got pretty hot. The whole torque converter got pretty hot. That's not supposed to be like that. So that's not good. It blew the seal out. And this should be in there. So luckily I have another pump and everything. I gotta go through all this. I'll clean this up with some Scotch-Brite and stuff. We'll pull this pump off. The pump itself is actually probably, to be honest, probably still good. This is a brand new pump, but I have another pump that's actually, I actually just put a transmission in her truck. I got a used transmission for it. And that's the transmission out of it. And that one also has a brand new pump in it. So I'll just put that one in it. But for now, I'm gonna tear this pump off and see what I find on the inside. It may not be as bad as I thought it was, to be honest. So we'll see. So updating as I go. Second gear clutches seem to be okay. There's a little bit of stuff on them before I was touching them, but overall, they look okay. The pump's a little scored up, or the, it's not a bearing, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a little scored up. I cannot spin the pump by hand. Overall, the pump itself actually looks okay. The stator's a little scored. But I won't know if the pump itself is okay until I pull the stator off. But like I said, I got another pump. I'm not even worried about using that one. But I figured I would just would show you what I'm seeing as I go. So I'm gonna get, this is the second gear, or the intermediate. It's the very first set of clutches you get to. And then that's the reverse drum, so we'll pull that out. The spag feels okay. Honestly, I thought the C-clip was broken, but it's not. So we'll we will keep going and see what we find. Okay, so I got, there's a little bit of oil on my camera. So I got, this is the forward drum. This is the reverse drum. So the reverse clutches definitely have a little bit of heat in them, but nothing crazy. I'm gonna say the reverse drum was probably not applying, because these clips, these are like almost like piston rings that seal on the inside. The drum feels okay, but these are a little scored up. Yeah, the drum looks okay. I don't see anything really inside, but I have another drum in Dakota's transmission. But the reverse clutches definitely had some heat in them. So we'll keep moving deeper and see what we find. I'll get this one apart now. The forward drum definitely had some heat in it. So yeah, forward drum definitely had some heat in it. And guys, these clutches could be burnt up from me, to be completely honest, trying to limp it back to the house when it was messed up. So these may not have been burnt up prior to the failure. And I honestly believe the failure started here. So, see if I can do this. One-handed maybe. Come on. Pull that out. It's the sun gear. The teeth on it look okay. Everything looks okay. As you can tell, it looks pretty new. It's because it is pretty new. That looks okay. There's no scoring or anything on it. In there. Let me pull. Oh, jeez. I'm right-handed. I gotta switch hands here. See if I can get this clip out one-handed. That. Can I get spring out. Come on, come out of there. There's that. This thing's a little bit of a pain in the butt to work out of there because I typically try to take this out without pulling the valve body out, which I guess in this case it doesn't matter because I don't even reuse this case, to be honest. I have a case sitting over there on the ground because I think I'm going to clean up and paint and use that case from where I've had to drill these out, and I'm going to be using a different pump. I'd rather not drill that pump, so I'll probably keep this case as a backup, but I have no intention on using this case at the moment. I think I'm gonna have to set you down to get this out. I need two hands. I gotta pull on this and keep the center in at the same time. So I will be back. I got that piece out. This damn oil. Transmission fluid gets everywhere. There we go. It's not as foggy now. Let's see if I can pull it out. Well, that's not usually a good sign. When this doesn't come apart like this, that means that likely those clutches are burnt up. Which, let's see if I can get you all. Stay up right here while I fight this apart. See here. That one in there. Come on. Ugh. Come apart. Where do you want to? Oh, yeah. Come on now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, more than likely, these clutches are the ones that are severely burnt up. Usually when they get stuck like this, that's a good indication that you have found your problem clutches. Come on, come apart. Keep going. Come on now. It's a little chilly out here. Okay. Well, what in the... Wait, where did that come from? Did that come out of there? Damn sure did. So... Huh. So maybe the direct drum's not burnt up. Well, I can tell you the direct drum's no good. Let me show you how I know that. So they may be burnt up. I've had this issue in the past. So I have another one of these in the garage in there. And again, Dakota's transmission has all this stuff. So this drum is no good. I can guarantee it. I pull this drum apart, this drum's no good. Okay? And this is going to be a problem. You can see the heat in it. This was all newer stuff. This is no good. Okay, but here is why this drum is no good. And I've actually talked to somebody about this before. I may have shown this before. But it's got trash in it too. Good grief. Well, one of the holes is completely, whatever it was, fell out. I don't know where it went. So, see, if I can get it focused, see that hole right there? And that hole down there? Yeah, those holes are supposed to be round. So what happens is when you go into third gear, let's see if I can stack this. Okay, so here's a good example of what happens, right? So this is what your torque converter spines to. It goes through the transmission. This is first gear. Your first gear clutches your forward. Your forward clutches are applied. When you shift into third gear, that's when this clutch applies. When this clutch applies, this is a direct through. It eliminates these clutches. These clutches unlock. Well, when you start making more power than what the parts are good for, this will actually twist. And from what I've read online, this could be from spinning. And when I shift into third, it hooks up. But I don't think so. This is just sheer torque, pretty much, overpowering this. Well, the problem is when this twists, it puts this out of balance. And this clutch applies to the back right here. Through this. And there's more of these rings right here on this, and they seal inside here. And if I spin this around, there's the hole right there. So that's the apply hole. So pressure comes in through here and applies the clutch. Well, the problem is when you twist all of this stuff, it becomes out of balance and this shakes around. Then this drum loses pressure. When this drum loses pressure, the clutches no longer apply like they're supposed to, and they burn up. And I have done this multiple times. This is a brand new drum. And what really, really sucks, guys, is these were brand new clutches. These clutches had never been on the track. I put these clutches in to try to make that last test and tune of the year, and winter hit early, and they closed the track down. And these clutches are, I mean, actually, to some, those clutches still look okay because they still have the ridges on them, but these clutches are cooked. I mean, these clutches are slap burnt up. You can see the bluing in the steels. You can see the bluing on that. You can see what the clutches were supposed to look like. So these are GPZ clutches. They are not supposed to be black. So this drum is trash. Well, it's not trash. There's a guy that takes these stock drums and cuts this weld out and welds in 300M internals. They'll make this a 300M so it'll stop breaking. So yeah, this entire transmission is trash. Second gear is about the only thing in this transmission that's still good. Let's see what the reverse band looks like. The reverse band looks okay, but it's not in the greatest condition. But you can see there's still quite a bit of material left on it. So, yeah, there's quite a lot of trash sitting right here, which really sucks. Because this was a fairly expensive set of clutches. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this was a 7 clutch direct drum stack. So yeah, guys, I think when it comes to, if it was, I still believe this is what ultimately broke. But looking at it and how burnt these clutches are, third gear didn't have much life left in it. This transmission would have been coming out pretty soon anyways. It didn't feel like third gear was slipping or anything, but it was third gear didn't have much life left in it. And because I'm twisting the snout to this drum, those holes are supposed to be round. This is the second one I've done this to. So stay tuned. I'm gonna finish pulling this thing apart. There's no really reason in showing y'all me pulling this one the rest of the way apart. I am gonna pull the rest of the internals out of it, flip it over. I'm gonna take my valve body and stuff out of it, and then set this case to the side and go from there. At least my stub shaft isn't twisted. This is my more expensive 300M stub shaft, and you can see the splines are perfectly straight. So, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do at this point. So, yeah, stay tuned. We'll keep pulling this thing apart. All right, so I got both transmissions here. This is Dakota's transmission. This is my transmission. This is that other case. I cleaned it up and painted it. I've already got the direct drum dropped in it. It's not perfect, but it definitely looks better than it just being plain. So I'm gonna use the parts out of hers that are good, like this one, whereas mine lost the race out of it, or the bearing, whatever you want to call it. So I've already got her direct drum in there, so that should be good to go. Got clutches in it, so I'm just gonna keep stacking this thing out, making it look good, putting it back together. So I got the reverse planetary down in there. You see it down in there. I got the C-clip in and the carrier. I'm just gonna keep stacking it up. I'm using a lot of parts from her transmission, some parts from mine, like this. You may be able to see, you may not. But you can see those. They still look good, but these ones just look a little bit better. These still have a little bit of the coating and stuff left on them. Not a lot, but they're just in a little bit better shape. So I'll put this one in here. Drop that in. And just stuff like that. I'm just gonna keep picking and choosing what's best from what transmission. Oh, I actually had to pull that back out. That would have been bad. Glad I flipped that over and seen that on there. So pop this back out. Come on. Come on. Pop that back out. This bearing. It's down in there. And this can go back in. There we go. Wipe all this nasty crud out of it. Next is all this stuff, so I've got to go through all this still. I found one of the problems with hers is the damn C-clip came back off of it again for some reason. But I got to go through that on both of them and figure out what I can do with what. So I got everything back in the transmission. Pick and chose, like I said, the best parts from both. But one of the things that I did, as you can see all the heat in this wave plate that's in my forward drum, I eliminated this wave plate and replaced it with a clutch and a steel. It's gonna make it a little harsher when I shift it into gear, but harshness isn't exactly what we're worried about in this transmission. Harsh is fine. So next is this, which goes like, goes like that. And then the pump. This is the pump off of her transmission, which is brand spanking new, might I add. And the pump goes like that. And then I'll take this give them some taps. Tap it down in there a little bit. Now I got to put all the bolts in. Ah, shoot. Nope, I got to pull this back out. I guess I know how. Well, yeah. I'm not that far into it. Mine says I haven't put any of the bolts or anything in it. Not this bolt. Forgot to put my little chatter thing in there for second gear. I guess before. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so that little thing's got to go in second gear. Oops. Screw this in a little bit. See if I can give her a. That ain't gonna work. Good old pry bar, like I've been doing it. It's a lot easier when the transmission's not just dangling around. Come on. Okay. Pull that out. Of course, it always happens. All this stuff back in. I'm gonna set y'all down for 1 second. And then, so this little chatter clip goes come on now. Isn't right. I'm not putting it in right. Oh. There we go. So that little chatter clip goes in there, and that's just to keep the clutches from chattering around. Not that you could hear it, but also not going to hurt anything. Let's just go ahead and put them in. Alright. Pull my bolt back off of there. Let's try this again. And that goes. Seems to be pretty lined up. Give her some. Me up. All right, let me get this pump set all the way in there with both hands. All right, so you may notice a little difference in the camera quality. I ended up getting me a new GoPro, but while I was out, so I got some Allen keys. I got a plug, so I have to plug this hole. And the current plug is in this transmission. You can see it right there, maybe. It's right there. So I gotta try to get that plug out. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. So let me get you guys set up. Let me find out what Allen key this is, and we'll see if I can get it out. Alright. I don't have a actual like tall tripod, but I do have a short tripod that I've got you on right now. Open up these Allen keys. Let's see here. I believe it's this one. Now I already broke one Allen key trying to get this thing out. It's not that one. So it's the 1/8 inch. Let's see if it'll come out. Nope, it's just stripping. Shit. That's what I was afraid of. That's not gonna come out. Okay, so I picked up a plug, but all they had was this, And I do not foresee me being able to make this work, if I'm being honest. I don't. I'll have to drill that thing out. There's no way. Shoot. Okay. Well, let me do some digging and see if I can find something to plug it with. Alright, so I didn't record it, but what I ended up doing is I had a tap and some bolts. Some of these little, I had a couple of these. So I just tapped it, ran those into it. They're just plugs to keep fluid from flowing into the third gear accumulator, so that third gear hits harder. I've got the valve body back in. I've got a new transmission filter. I've got to pop the old O-ring out of here. Pop that out. And let's just make sure it is on there. That pops in. That pushes into that little hole right there. That plugs in there. That plugs in there. And this isn't the right plug for that. So what I do is I just bring it back through here. And I'll wrap it around a couple times. And it'll just hang out right there. This isn't used anymore because this valve body bypasses it. That is the pressure control for the transmission, but this valve body is a constant pressure valve body, so it's not used anymore. So this filter is, woof, nasty. Look at all that stuff on there. Jeez. Yummy. Look at all these bolts in that box. Alright, well, in the next video, the transmission will be going back in the car, and I'll be taking it for a test drive, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know if you notice any difference in the sound quality or anything. It should be a little bit better. So, yeah, stay tuned.